Good afternoon, everyone. And I told Marcus to say that I'm talking about ChatGPT, but in fact, we didn't use ChatGPT during this research. But anyway, this talk is about some research that we did at the end of last year. We were looking into large language models, which everyone's been talking about this whole conference, and how they might be used maliciously or to create undesirable content. The research itself is called Creatively Malicious Prompt Engineering, and if you can remember that, you can put it into Google and you can find the publication. And it has a lot more detail in it than what I can go through in 9 minutes and 15 seconds that I have left. So anyway, I'll get straight into it. And if you haven't heard the term prompt engineering before, basically what it means is crafting inputs, written, like natural language, written inputs for these generative models that produce, for instance, writing, language, or art, or video, or music. And so it's about crafting the right input such that you get the desired output. And in the context of the research we did, of course, we looked at language models, and so these prompts were used to generate written content. Now, in the context of cybersecurity, of course, the most obvious example of use of language models would be to create phishing or spear phishing content. And phishing and spear phishing content are actually designed to be benign by nature. I mean, imagine asking a model to send an email to your colleague telling them that you've got to give a presentation tomorrow. Can you look through the slides? Link is in the email, right? I mean, that's a benign email, but it could also be used for phishing. So a model's not going to refuse to create that kind of content. However, it may refuse to create it if you include a malicious link in the prompt. If you ask it, please include this link in the prompt. And we got around this by basically including these placeholders. So instead of putting the actual URL in there, you just put this square brackets link, and then you can replace that after the content's been generated. In another experiment, we looked at harassment, and this was not just harassing individuals, but also like a brand reputation attacks. And what we did was we asked the model to actually create a fake company and create a CEO for that company. And then we used it to harass both the CEO and the company itself. As you can see, for instance, on the right-hand side, bottom box there, we had it make some social media posts, but we also had it write articles about the company and about the CEO. And we were able to insert false allegations about the company into the prompt, and it included them in the written content that it generated. In another experiment, we did what we're calling social validation. The idea behind social validation is that people tend to trust content that has more engagement, has more likes, more retweets, engaging replies, and so on. And this sort of content can be used to advertise scams, and buy this NFT or buy this cryptocurrency, that kind of stuff. In this case, we actually emulated an old meme from the internet, which was this Tide Pod challenge. So there, on YouTube, teenagers were daring each other to eat those tablets you put into the dishwasher, which probably don't taste very good. So we asked it to write a tweet, asking people to take the challenge, and then we asked it to pretend to be someone who took the challenge and write a tweet replying to the original one, saying, I took the challenge and this is what happened. And then we asked the model to pretend to be the original poster, reply to the person who replied, and saying, thanks for taking the challenge, and please get your friends to do it too. In this next experiment, which we're calling style transfer, what we did was we wrote this very informal inter-office email style, and then we asked the model to take that style into account when writing an email. So to use that written style, and it was actually able to do that quite well. And now this is interesting, especially for spear phishing use cases. If you want to impersonate someone in a company, in a spear phishing email to someone else, if you can get a hold of some of their written content, some of their emails, some of their social media posts, you can ask it to write in their style. Another more nefarious way of using this is in these hack and leak operations. So, some group will hack into a company, steal documents, or hack into someone's email account, steal their emails, and then they'll leak this trove of information. And if you want to do something really rather nasty, you could take some written style from some internal company emails or something and craft like a fake email and insert it into that trove of leaked documents. And the company will deny that email is valid, but they won't really be able to prove that. In this next experiment, we did something we're calling opinion transfer. So what we did here was we asked the model to write about an event that is already in its training set. In this case, we asked it to write about the events that happened on January 6th, 2021 in Washington, D.C. And what it did was it wrote a very factual, unbiased, like Wikipedia-like article. We then gave it like two opinions. One opinion was that the people who participated in this event were just tourists visiting the capital, and the other one saying that this was an obvious betrayal of our country and insurrection. Then we gave the same prompt, but take this opinion into account, and it wrote these very partisan articles. And if you think about the sort of thing that Russia does, where they try and flood the internet with this divisive content, right? Try and amplify the culture war. This sort of technique could be used to really generate a lot of content of this type. In this last experiment that I'll describe, we asked the model to write some fake news. Now, we were doing this research against GPT-3, which was trained on a data set that was created in June of 2021. So it knows nothing about the Ukraine war. And we asked it to write an article insinuating that it was the US that attacked the Nord Stream pipeline. And the way that we did this was we took some information from Wikipedia and just included it in the prompt. So we copied a paragraph from Wikipedia about the Ukraine conflict, about the Nord Stream pipeline, and then we found a website that detailed US naval maneuvers during 2022. We included all that stuff in the prompt and then asked it to write the article, and it wrote a very convincing article suggesting that the US were the ones who attacked the pipeline. So in conclusion, we tried all these different things. It was very straightforward to create the prompts to do these things. The content that it put out was very convincing. Tweets looked exactly like the sort of thing you'll see on Twitter. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So we're working on a follow-up piece, which we hope to get out in the autumn, which goes into some other techniques and some more detail about the sort of things we did here. We have a full report online. So remember that title, Creatively Malicious Prompt Engineering. Go and download it and read it. It's a very easy read. It's meant to be very engaging and entertaining. And we have a table over in the demo area. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to chat about AI in general, anything like that, then just come and visit us. And thanks for watching.
Thank you so much, Andy. So, fascinating stuff, not at all terrifying in any way, shape, or form, Andy. Thank you for that.